Welcome to the Books, Beards, Booze podcast, where we talk books, drink booze, and have beards.
All right. As always, I am Bob of Tales by Bob.
I'm the ass of the podcast, Derek.
I am creative consultant, Tonya.
She is Grumpy Pants Tonya today.
Ooh, she's...
So tell us about your thoughts on ChickFilA, Tonya.
Yeah, lay it on us.
Everybody loves ChickFilA, and I love ChickFilA. ChickFilA's food's real good. The one that's here by your house is the fucking worst.
Mind you, I have never had an issue with this ChickFilA.
Well, you clearly don't go to better Chick-fil-A's. I tell you, if this is your height of customer service for Chick-fil-A, let me surprise you and take you to Prattville, because holy shit, they know what to do in Prattville.
I've never had a bad interaction. My food is always exactly how I ordered it.
Does it not take you 20 minutes to get into this fucking Chick-fil-A because people don't know how to use a fucking drive-thru?
That's not their fault.
Ooh, why the fuck does Chick-fil-A have people standing outside to take your order? Let me talk to the box. It's literally no faster. Literally no faster. And it's so much more awkward. Actually, if anything, it's slower, because the one here in Ann Street, they don't walk your car up. They'll keep you all the way back in the Walmart fucking parking lot and take your order there instead of going, let's walk up.
They do. I think normally they walk with you, and they normally have two people taking
orders.
No.
We only had the one.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a your pleasure, my pleasure. I didn't get pleasured at all at this Chick-fil-A the last two times I was there.
I think you have strangely high expectations. What's the Prattville?
I know, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, we need to go to Prattville.
You need to. I'm
Chick-fil-A
saying is, like,
on.
if you think that this Ann Street one has got their shit together, seriously, let's go to Prattville, and you can see where people know how to use a goddamn drive-thru. Take turns.
I just go to the one on, like, an East Chase.
Wow.
Oh my! You asked and you got it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought we were going to hear something about layouts because you were bitching about the layout of the place. I don't.
Oh yeah, because the way
the
the building is constructed, like people come around the corner off of Ann Street, so that's one line of people coming through. There's people who come from the other side of Ann Street, and there's people also come from the Walmart parking lot. So you've got three funnels of people, and you can't fucking get anywhere. And in Prattville, where they know how to design things, they have the line that goes around the building, but there's a stop sign. So it's like you stop, let the person who just got their food out, and then you take turns.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though.
System.
Here's the problem with that, though, because that's what East Chase does. Have you never been stuck at East Chase because someone didn't listen to the stop sign and they blocked the exit? And I've literally seen the East Chase Chick-fil-A be locked up because the people could not leave with their food because someone was blocking their lane to get out. Cars could not move.
That doesn't happen in Prattville.
Oh, okay.
I yell at them if they do. With my windows were down, and they could give me my food, and someone pulled out in front of me, and I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to get out? And it's like, ooh, I'm at the Lord's Chicken.
And
whoops.
And we know Tanya's experience with yelling involving chicken.
Hey now.
So, Books, Beards, Booze bringing you the super relevant worldwide content of the Chick-fil-A's in the Montgomery area.
Yes,
Stay away from this fucking Ann Street one.
All right. So
I didn't get my pleasure, not one fucking time.
Well, the real issue, that you don't care about that for real. You care about not getting your mayonnaise. That's what's got you salty.
Okay, in my
defense, I was a lot harder on them earlier when I thought that they didn't give me the ranch for my wrap, but it was at the bottom of my bag.
Have you made sure that the mayonnaise wasn't laying under the ranch?
It wasn't. I didn't ask for it. That was on me. I didn't ask for it.
So just to be clear, you walked in complaining that they didn't give you mayonnaise and ranch.
They gave you the ranch.
Ask for the mayonnaise, and they actually gave you the ranch.
Okay, so you know I love rewards, right?
Yes.
I have Chick-fil-A rewards. Twice I've gone to this Ann Street Chick-fil-A. I have had a reward on my little scanny thing. They have scanned it because I want the free caramel frosted coffee. They have a caramel frosted coffee. I want it for free.
Doesn't sound like it's on your diet.
Ooh, it's shush. Okay. I want
How
it free.
many minutes of cardio at the gym are we gonna have to do to get rid of that?
Oh, stop. Okay, so
that sounds like more than 10 minutes of cardio.
I'm going to flail my limbs about and probably smack you. So I have a reward on my phone for a free frosted beverage. It's been there. They have scanned it twice. Not once have they actually taken my coffee off my fucking order. I've paid for it twice when I wanted it free. It's $3.30. I wanted it for free. Look at my tiny Karen haircut.
That's the Lord telling you don't need to have
Or that could just be that you could be like, hey, you still charged me for that. You should take this off.
Oh, you're expecting me to turn around and go back through that drive? Okay.
Or
Have
you could
tried
look
to park
before
there
you...
because you don't?
All right.
Well, I don't go to ChickFilA.
Let's move on.
You asked for this.
did.
I was going
We
to
did.
rant off of air, but you were like, no, Tonya,
No.
bottle down your feelings. Let it all out on air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's amused me. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I'm looking for.
And I just imagine the comments, yikes.
Yeah. ...
Someone's hangry. Someone's a psycho.
Well, you are. Well,
Yeah.
both of those things
Yeah,
we've established
accurate.
on this show so far. I mean, not even just today.
And I just drank my beverage and it reminded me of something else.
Oh, here we go. They had the worst ice.
I wouldn't know. They don't give me none. This is the first time I've had ice in a
Ice?
beverage from there.
Oh, okay.
Everything else is like, I got tea and it's hot.
How dare
Fucking
they
hot.
be considerate and leave the ice out so that you can have more drink?
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
going to stab you with a pen in my hand.
All right.
As you look like, oh shit, she does have a pen in her hand.
I'll fight you.
All right.
Ew.
So moving on. For the
I'm just saying, you asked.
for the
this.
month of September, we are drinking Suntory's Toki whiskey. That's whiskey with no E.
Because it's not from
Right.
Yeah.
the Europe.
Correctly.
Yeah. So let's give this a little try-a-doodle. Let's give it a sip. Oh, don't worry, Tonya. I poured you a little shot ski there.
Thanks. It smells like alcohol. It looks like apple juice.
When you said apple juice, I got like a faint hint of apple when you said that.
I
I
kinda
know.
did
That's
too.
I
why.
don't know
That's
if
why I said
I don't
apple
know if that's
juice.
legitimate or if it's just my brain.
Well, that's why I said apple juice.
It's not bad. I've let the ice melt a little bit, so it's got a little watered down. So I'm good with it. I would sip this.
Great.
It's almost Scotchy, almost.
Well,
It's
yeah.
Japanese, not Scottish.
Yeah. Well, so is Japanese whiskey more Scotch-like? Is this a Scotch? No, this is just a whiskey. Like not a Scotch whiskey, it's just regular whiskey, right? Or are Japanese whiskeys Scotchy?
I think so.
Okay.
If I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, this is pretty Scotchy.
Admittedly, I went through a real heavy phase of learning about whiskeys and stuff like
Yeah.
that months ago. I'm just now realizing that I'm forgetting the
Yeah.
things that I learned. But if I'm remembering correctly,
Well, I know a Japanese whiskey won like the World Scotch Championship.
right, and if I'm remembering correctly, the origins of the people that started, really made Japanese whiskey a thing, they were people that went over to
Scotland
and
okay.
stuff. If I'm
Yeah, this is a very Scotchy. It's not Scotch. It's
Right.
not quite there, but it's a fairly Scotchy whiskey. So, like, if you're not big on Scotch, this might not be for you. I'm not big
Yeah.
on Scotch, but I like this all
yeah,
right.
it's okay.
It wouldn't be my go-to to buy, but it's a welcome change of pace.
Yeah, I like it well enough, but my thing is, if I'm either going to go for a bourbon, or I'm going
an
to,
actual Scotch.
not necessarily just an actual Scotch, but a smoky Scotch, like God, I can't. Is it Isla or whatever it's called?
Islay.
Whatever
Yeah.
it is, yeah. But like the one, like the Talisker that I had,
Oh, yeah.
that's real smoky and what woman?
Y'all can't see her face, but it is just filled with discontent. Just pouty. She's just pouty.
What?
We didn't let her get a nap.
My hips hurt.
Oh
I'm sitting here in this chair. My hips hurt.
God.
Okay.
All right, so I got a little bit of news. The Testaments
Yeah.
is out.
I pre-ordered that on Audible.
I think a couple copies have leaked, they said, and the reviews are really good. Like, it's getting really good buzz. For those who don't know, The Testament is the sequel to The Handmaid's Tale. And they say, the review that I read, said that it was drawing at least a little bit from the TV show, like some of the elements of the TV show are worked in to this. So, if you're a fan of the show, you should be well pleased, and if you're a fan of the book, you should be well pleased. It seems like it's kind of catering to both crowds.
Neato burritos.
Little bit of news. There's a White Claw shortage.
Shocked.
Yeah, I was told to mention that.
Claw's the law, baby, but we're about to be lawless.
I thought that there were some states that were banning getting declawed.
Heyo.
Oh.
They are.
No, crazy cat lady.
They are. There are some places you can't declaw cats.
Which is for the best.
Yeah, it's like their whole ass knuckle.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, White Claw shortage. It accounts for half of all seltzer sales, and their sales are up 300% over July to July.
Jeez.
And yeah, apparently there's been some reports that people are getting them and they're empty. Like they go to crack open a claw, and there ain't none in it. So they're having some bottling issues as well, it sounds like. But they are working to ramp up production so they can fill the shortages, blah, 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 blah. Claw's law, baby. Woo! All right, so...
I have a bit of news.
Oh, what you got?
So, I forget if it was yesterday or the day before. Recently, in the past week, Fonda Lee announced that she is working in conjunction with Marvel Comics to write a
Jade War comic?
Not a Jade War comic.
Oh, I do want a Jade War comic though.
Yes, but also she's signing on to, I can't remember if it's co-write or to write Shang-Chi and basically so I have an issue with this slightly, and it's only just because it's like I don't like it when they hired someone specifically that's Asian just to write the Asian characters. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, that's kind of.
But
shitty.
she has her books are so steeped in creating a really in-depth and interesting Oriental vibe society that I'm like, okay, well, that's also plays into her strength as a writer. So, okay, I'm gonna give it a chance.
And
but
she's also a martial artist, and
exactly.
I assume these superheroes are martial artist oriented.
It's a character that I don't know by name, and Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi is the best martial artist in the Marvel universe. Okay, so yeah.
So don't call it Marvel, call it Marv Lee.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So Tonya and I just got back from DragonCon.
DragonCon.
Derek didn't go.
Next year, though.
Next year, we're gonna smuggle him in.
It's happening
in a duffel. But so we just got back from DragonCon, and we thought that we would regale you with the stuff that we thought y'all would care about.
Let's make them jelly
as our listeners, like stuff that we did,
so
panels we attended.
I don't know anything about their trip yet, specifically, so I could learn about it right now.
Yay.
So anything you want to tell me about how great this thing is, I will be reacting in real time with whiskey.
Yeah. So you know who the literary guest of honor was? Brandon.
I don't want to talk about it.
Brandon motherfucking Sanderson. Guess who got his autograph? I did.
Yeah.
High five.
Whoa. Derek just faked her out on a high five. Smooth as butter.
Yikes.
You could feel the saltiness in that whiffed high five.
Jeez.
Not only did she get his autograph, she got the autograph of the guy who's doing the art for the 10th year anniversary of
Dan
Warbreaker.
Dos Santos. He did the cover for the current iteration.
That cover looks amazing.
Ooh, yeah. Sat in a panel, watched the art and how he did all the arts and all the inside extra arts you get in the leather-bound 10th anniversary editions that are coming for Christmas. Ooh, everybody, Tonya wants that for Christmas.
Yeah. So
Kickstarted that for me.
How much is it?
It's probably going to be a hundo.
They were charging $100 for a leather-bound Mistborn, but it wasn't the trilogy. It was just the first book.
But you had all the arts and leather-bound.
I would pay $100 for the trilogy leather-bound. I'm not going to pay $100 for just the first, because it's going to be $300 to get all 3 books. Man.
But they're so nice, and all the arts.
Yeah.
See,
I want it for Warbreaker because it's standalone.
Warbreaker is standalone book. Yeah.
See, here's the thing that and this is sorry to sidetrack briefly, but because we're talking about special editions or stuff like that of books we really like. So I think that if you've listened to this show, you probably know I have a particular fondness for this Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. I went and looked on collector's edition hardback versions of those, and they've got one that looks super sick.
Fan of the podcast, Jason from Troy, he just started reading the first Robin Hobb trilogy.
So good.
So Farseer trilogy.
Yeah.
So
super good. Love those books.
Yep. Got to got to meet Brandon Sanderson and Dan Dos Santos.
Yeah.
Super nice.
Someday Bob's gonna watch the lectures of
one of these days. I will. They actually got mentioned on several panels. Actually, I actually didn't see any panel with him because I avoid panels with large crowds for the
Right.
for the
And
most
if it's
part.
got him in it, it's gonna be a large crowd.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And so like there was a panel for him, and it took up the whole the line was an entire floor of the Marriott.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
It was
Which
ridiculous.
The Marriott takes up an entire block of downtown.
It was
Atlanta.
ridiculous because
Yeah.
you had to go through that particular floor to get to the main floor where the other bridges are basically, and it was like deadlock. Good
Yeah.
fucking luck.
Yeah.
Fire marshal came through,
Hey.
shut the place down and shit. My line wasn't that bad. It was an
Yeah.
outside line, and your girl was number 30 in the door.
That's what I was
Yeah.
about to say. I
Like-
thought you said you had good seats.
I
for it.
did.
She had great seats.
Had good seats.
She
So-
snapped me the seat. I was like, oh, jelly.
Yeah, I made the decision. I was like, there were some other panels that I wanted to see, but I was like, ooh,
You know it's gonna be
I'm just
fucking
going to
packed.
skip the line and go
Yeah.
to see Sanderson. And it worked out really well.
Yeah.
That's pretty
So,
cool.
Derek, you'll care more about this. You know who Matt Wilson is? Artist.
Sounds familiar.
He's a comic book artist.
Right.
He did Wicked and the Divine and
Right.
Paper Girls. So I'll go into who I was trying to see in a minute. But I went, the fourth floor of the merch area is all like the comic book artists and whatnot. Like they get their own
Didn't you say
floor.
you'd never actually gone to that before?
No, I had.
Oh,
no,
it was?
I had never been to the autograph
That's
area.
what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the fourth floor of the merch is where they have it's like artist alley kind of
right.
deal.
That was.
Where all the comic
really
book
wanna
artists
go.
have their booths. Well, so I went to go see a guy that I'll talk about in a minute, but he had a sign up that's like back in 15. And so
See, we're like, I'll go check some other
night
stuff out.
one, I twisted my ankle a little bit. So I walked on my foot funny that night. When I woke up the next day, my ankle was fine, but I had bruised the bottom of my foot. So I limped the rest of the I was half
Struggling.
crippled all weekend. I was
Struggling.
struggling. Well, so I was like, at this point, I've gone through 3 full floors of merch. I'm just wanting to go back to the room at this point. I am tired. I am beat. I want to go get some Greek food and go back to the room. That's all I want.
Greek sounds good.
There's a
Ooh,
Greek
yeah.
place right by the hotel.
Nice.
It was great.
Their French fries are real good. I know
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
go to a Greek place for French fries,
But
but their
their French
fries are
fries
are-
on
Go for the
point.
Oh,
Ooh,
fucking
yeah, I got
good.
their gyros and their tzatziki sauce is
sauce?
real good.
Real high five this time because that shit's
Yeah,
good.
it's
Well,
real tasty.
So I
Except
wasn't.
I got a Greek salad and forgot a fork.
Yeah, she did. She forgot.
Trying
a
to
fork.
eat a salad with my fingers. It was
Yeah.
just
So I was not going to do the whole comic book floor because
Yeah.
normally that's doesn't. I don't really tend to buy art there. I tend to buy art from the actual artist gallery kind of deal. But I was like, I got to kill 15 minutes. Let's just go ahead and walk on through anyway. And I scored 2 things. First off, Matt Wilson had his own booth there.
That's cool.
And I've been wanting to read Paper Girls. This is the comic Brian K. Vaughan written,
Yes. Oh my
illustrated by Matt Wilson. And I'd been kind of holding off wanting to see if they're going to do an omnibus of it. They're releasing 3 hardback, like each one is basically 2 trade
Right,
paperbacks
right.
worth. So they're going to release 3 hardbacks of the entirety of Paper Girls. He had the first one there. I got it. It was $35 with his autograph.
That's what's up.
Yeah, which, admittedly, he has a dumb autograph. He's got a dumb signature. His signature is an M and a W. That's it. Like, Derek, I have it right here. I'll show you.
Yeah.
No one's going to believe this is his actual fucking autograph.
I witnessed it, so that's the only thing.
Yeah,
That's it.
Tonya
MW.
was there to see it, but that's a dumb signature.
Here's the thing, though.
He probably signed, a couple thousand that weekend, so I get it, but still.
What I was about to say was you got to keep in mind, though, that's very easy to prove because literally all you have to do is go to any cover he's ever drawn and it's going to have his initials on it. Like
True.
that.
But so then I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome. And just like, well, let's just walk. We've only missed one little area. Let's just walk over here
This
real
is
quick.
the last row. Let's just go to the
It
last
was
row.
the fucking guy who did all the Goosebump covers.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And he had covers there, $20. I got my favorite Goosebump book
Yeah, I
cover
saw you mention
with
that.
his
Yeah.
autograph.
Yeah.
Werewolf of Fever Swamp with his autograph, $20 fucking bucks. It was amazing.
It was really cool.
All right, so then I was like, all right, well, let me hobble back to see the guy who I went there to see. A guy named Brett Brooks. I'm not gonna say we're friends, but like we are
Acquaintances.
we're con acquaintances. Like I met him at GumpCon, and I've run into him at DragonCon since. Like we we follow each other on Instagram. We know who each other are.
Associates.
Yeah, we're associates. Cool guy. He's actually originally from like Ozark, so, but he just finished his graphic novel, his second graphic novel, called not Wild Aces, Deuces Wild. Deuces Wild.
What's it about?
Space mercenary kind of deal.
Between the name
like
and that,
bounty hunter-y kind of deal.
Man.
Like it. I haven't read it yet. I just kind of know, but like
the fact that they're not capybaras is a little troubling. But we'll get past that.
I got the hardback of it, and so super stoked about that. So you can get you can find him. It's like Brett Brooks. Just find him. But yeah, Tonya, what was something else that you really liked about DragonCon that would interest?
I think she was a
listeners?
big fan of the fact that you had to limp everywhere.
Well, to be fair, we were all kind of limping
because
I bitched nonstop.
The hotel we stayed in last year was like 3 blocks closer, but we stayed in a different hotel farther away, closer to the Greek place, because 16th floor balcony pool.
24-hour 16th floor balcony pool.
Spoiler
How many times
alert.
do you use it?
Oh, Derek, it was not 24 hours anymore.
They changed it since the last time I had stayed there, and it was now dawn
Sun
to
up, sundown.
dusk.
Yeah.
It wasn't 24-hour. And when we stayed there before, we basically never used it during the day. We would only use it like when we came back drunk.
Yeah.
And would go from all day out, and we'd go get in the pool. Yeah, we got in the pool one time. And
it was cold as fuck.
Because it was so high up, the wind was blowing something wicked. Yeah.
It was frigid AF. Yeah. I would have rather have stayed 3 blocks closer because that 3 blocks is a hill.
Yeah. In retrospect, yeah. If the pool had been 24 hours, totally worth the stay there.
Can we get to the part where y'all start trying to make me feel bad about having not attended this?
I got real drunk and had to be wrangled.
Oh, yeah.
There's
definitely
a video
upset
of
I missed that.
I missed that.
There's a video of that. No, I had a really good time on the panels. I went to
so many good panels.
Yeah. There was one that I went to that was, is it dark or is it horror? So just kind of talking about the nuances and the difference between like, is this just dark literature or is this actual horror? So
was that the one John Ringo was on?
No, that was on the near future sci-fi panel, which I think I liked better.
Yeah.
Talking about like the challenges of writing near future sci-fi in the current, like how quickly things change with our technology and the 2-year approximate turnaround to get published. How difficult it is to write that near future sci-fi, and just kind of things that maybe these sci-fi writers thought would just be right around the corner and still hasn't been. Yeah. And the quintessential thing was like flying cars. I mean, people thought flying cars for the longest time, but like, oh man, that's not around the corner.
No,
but just talked about things like that.
That actually got mentioned on a panel I was on, and basically the point that got made was like, we cannot get self-driving we cannot get flying cars until self-driving cars are perfected. Right. Yeah. Because the only way it's going to work is
to use that technology.
Use that technology, self-driving, and they got to interface together so they're not running into each other.
Yeah.
Because the flight controllers are already overworked.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't even look into that. If you.
Oh no, I knew someone that was, and it's like the fact that they haven't all quit just blew my mind.
Yeah.
No, and then I went to some cool like space panels and stuff.
Yeah, that for me. So like,
is there a thing that you like? It's totally there at DragonCon.
Pretty much. I had never been to any of the science.
Sure
panels.
was last year, but
I'd never gone to any of the science track panels before, and this year I ended up going to 3, and they were all fucking amazing.
I don't understand why you wouldn't have gone to them before.
Well, just because there's
so much to do.
Well, like this year I didn't really do much on the writing track because I've done so much of the writing track before already, and like so like and it ended up working out really well for me because I was hobbling, and they all take place in the same area, so I saw more because I was just chilling in this one area kind of deal.
And then you were like, this was a good idea.
Because like across the street is a space track, so like I did like a science track and then hit a space track and then went back to science track kind of deal. But here are some of the first one I went to was emergency preparedness for kaiju, zombies, or sharknadoes. This guy who hosted it, no shit, works for FEMA and has presented these at actual academic panels. He has written up disaster preparedness plans for a kaiju, zombie outbreak. He does like GIS mapping to show how zombies spread.
Yeah.
It was fucking, and he's presented like he had the list of I've presented it here, I've presented it here, I've presented it here, here and here, and like he would never just call them like he never called it like Sharknado. Mm-hmm. It was
Would he not say zombie? He would say in case of something like fast acting.
Someone came up
rabies.
with a name for zombieism, basically that's like anaphylactic, blah 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 blah. He would refer it to what he would do is he would refer to it completely legitimately, and then like 4 or 5 slides into his PowerPoint, he'd be like, or more commonly known as zombies. But it was a whatever the scientific name for a shark is, like chthoniids or whatever. It was like a meteorological chthonic event kind of deal. And he treated the movies as though they were historical record, and actually worked in other historical records of like, when they had like rains of frogs and shit like that. And he did elaborate GIS modeling to show what places are most likely to have a Sharknado event occur. And it was fucking amazing.
It's amazing that you mentioned this. So I don't remember when this was. It was probably a couple of weeks ago. I was on Reddit. And in like just a random ass fucking thread, something got said. And this guy in the comments was like, well, in reference to the comment he was trying to make, was explaining that he works for the military, or he used to work for the military. And he's like, you don't understand. They have contingency plans for the most asinine things. And I know because I'm the guy that used to come up with those. Nice. And people were so interested in it, they made him do an AMA. Yeah. And basically he was like, yes, I was part of coming up with the military's plan for dealing with zombies, for dealing with aliens, for dealing with like any completely ass backwards nonsense thing that you think would never fucking happen.
Yeah,
I'm the guy that came up with the plan for it.
Nice.
And trust me, they don't have one plan; they have multiple plans for it.
Yeah,
it was just hearing him talk about it when people started. Was like, so how far would we get on this Area 51 kick? And he was like, man, honest to God, I can't say, but I'm just gonna say, stay the fuck away from that place.
Yeah,
he's like, just trust me on this. I've been there. Do not go.
Yeah. Another one I did was evolving a monster, and basically they had like an evolutionary biologist, a paleontologist, a archaeobotanist, or something like that. Like, and the fourth person was someone. Her job is drawing all the like actual like medical like pictures of musculature of a cat and stuff like that. That's her job for a living, and she has like a background in mythology or something like that. So they started the panel by asking like each person like, hey, what creature would you evolve into what creature? And like one person like, I would evolve a horse into a Pegasus, and here is how you do that.
Ooh.
And then like the next one, one guy evolved a kaiju. This was fucking crazy because it was like, oh my god, that's so believable. So get this, Chernobyl, there are fungi, like there are mushrooms there that have evolved that they draw their sustenance from radiation. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. So he was like, imagine a parasitic fungi that feeds off the radiation. It gets on a lizard, and it controls the lizard, telling it to go near sources of radiation. And the spines down the back are the fungal outgrowths of the, like, it was like, as he's going on, I was like, oh my god, I could totally see this happening. Yeah. You could have a fucking Godzilla. He's like, you couldn't have the laser eyes.
Probably not.
But you could have the rest of it. But then they just opened it up after they each did their...
Hey, when radiation gets involved, you don't know what's possible.
Well, after each one said what they would evolve, one did a hippocampus, and the last one, I've never seen the movie Maleficent, but apparently there's like something in her gut. I don't know. And she's like, here's how you would evolve that. But then they just opened it up like, how could you evolve a Pokemon? Like, one was like, so how, like, what would it take for goats to become arboreal? And they were like, not much. They're pretty much already fucking there. Like
little goats in trees.
Yeah, goats in trees, just like shit like that. But then the last panel, I went to 2 more. One was Altered Carbon. It was about the Altered Carbon book, but the science behind the science in that book, the sleeve, and like how close are we to that? How believable is it? That was really fucking interesting. But the last one was bring us your evil plan. Like your evil plan. Tell us what it is. And they had a lawyer, the evolutionary biologist was back, a forensic pathologist, and I forget what the other person was, but they were like, tell us what your plan is. We'll tell you how to make it a reality and how to make it better. And that's it. It was just all questions like, oh, well, here's my plan. Like, oh, okay, well, here's what you do.
What if you increased this?
So
by
the
this?
trippy part was the lawyer looked like fucking Tonya. All right? And someone brought up this plan of like, what if, so like, they're like, rodents can survive incredibly high falls. What would it take to like load up a bunch of rodents with like squirrels with rabies and drop them out of an airplane? And what they finally settled on, partly because of the lawyer who suggested guinea pigs, was dropping guinea pigs off drones. So the lawyer that looked like Tonya suggested like hamster death.
So that was par for the course.
Yeah.
Doppelganger.
It was strangely on brand.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's horrific.
Yeah, all of the panels that I picked, I was batting like 50-50 on whether that'd be good panels.
It was pretty much, if she showed up to a panel that we all went to, it was trash.
Really?
Oh, yeah. No, it was like her.
It sounded cool.
Yeah.
But
Like what? Which ones didn't work out?
This was the biggest letdown to me.
the Sanderson Magic panel.
No, the spooky story.
Oh, yeah,
They had one that was
spookies.
starting at like midnight. They had a bunch of
Spooky
authors.
stories and creepy music.
Yeah, they had a band there to play spooky music, like very like in the background, like creepy cello music.
Which that part was
that was
on
on
point.
point. But it was supposed to be these like 6 authors telling scary stories. Well, the first guy read a story of his that took like 30 minutes of the time.
Panels are only an hour.
Yeah. And then the next woman was
Unprepared.
And I'm going to be polite and say that her story was somewhat nonsensical.
There were
We got up and
aliens
left.
and shit.
We got up and
Yeah.
left. It was trash.
And we got up and left, and literally, like, the floodgates coming
Yeah.
out. Like, people were like, nope, I'm
No.
out. Not doing
So
that.
the Sanderson panel was a letdown, but I want to bring it up for a different reason. So the Sanderson panel, it was a panel on Sanderson's laws of magic.
Brandon Sanderson was not on this panel. There were
Yeah.
people talking about his...
Well, I mean, I've already seen the lectures. I wouldn't go to another.
So they had 6 authors.
I think it was 6.
6 authors, like of varying,
right.
degrees. And I mean, they were all like big name published authors, pretty much. I didn't immediately recognize anyone except for Alaron Kong,
Yeah.
which I wouldn't have recognized him before this weekend. But anyway, so the problem with that panel was, after like 10 minutes of it, they're like, okay, well, anytime, we're going to keep talking, but y'all can just ask questions at any time. And it just became everyone asking questions. And I didn't come there to hear jack-offs ask questions. I came there to hear 6 experts on writing and magic systems talk about fucking magic systems. And so that was trash. But the reason I want to bring it up, the really cool thing that I
Because
really...
you wish Sanderson had some kind of thing out there that would have all the conversations that about his laws.
The first
of magic.
10-15 minutes of it was really cool
good,
because it was these guys talking about how they implement these laws and
Right.
stuff like that, like in their specific
Because
systems. And that
this
was
one lady
great.
has, she had werewolves. And so I was like, okay, so do you use more hard magic for them or soft magic? Blah, blah, blah. It was like really interesting. And then... fucking ding-dongs. Well, I'm writing a novel about this, and what do you think about that?
Oh, no.
Bitch, I'm not here for you.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So that's the thing. Like any panel involving writing in books, the questions are always the fucking worst. That's my experience. I hate those. The science panel, like I just thought all panels were like that. No, I went to all these science panels, and like all the questions were fucking great. It's like, oh, okay, so that's just the writing track problem. Okay, great, cool, awesome. Because it's a bunch of writers trying to impress their heroes up on the pedestal.
Right. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah. Save those questions for after. But whatever. But the cool thing that DragonCon did and has done for what they've done for the past few years is they treat self-published authors with the exact same respect as traditionally published authors. John Hartness, self-published author, he was on 17 fucking panels this year. But what I noticed this year is they were giving lit RPG authors the same respect. And I actually did a post on this on the fantasy subreddit where I was like, I think that's really cool because lit RPG gets shit on by a sizable portion of the fantasy world for being like, that's just a trash genre. And I was like, it was really cool to see DragonCon treat it as equally viable
media,
a subgenre of fantasy.
Yeah.
And probably far and away the best-selling author on that Sanderson's Laws of Magic panel was Alaron Kong. He's a lit RPG author. He has 100,000 5-star reviews. I bet you there was not a single author on that panel that has sold 100,000 books. I virtually guarantee it of those. Like, there's no way that they sold 100,000 books, you know? Like, fuck. And he's got 100,000 5-star reviews alone. Like, yes, popularity does not equate to good. 50 Shades of Grey, anyone?
Yeah.
But it is hard to argue with that level of success. But I happen to win a copy of his book, one of his books.
You decided if you're going to read it yet?
Yes, I'm definitely going to read it.
That's the little sample book that I gave you is the book that Bob won. I only won a sample because they had this wheel in their booth, spin a wheel and potentially win swag. I got a patch and a little rubber bracelet and then consolation prize of books.
Me and Tonya also got this book by J.A. Hunter called Viridian Gate Online Cataclysm, another lit RPG book.
Yep.
Cool cover.
Yeah,
it looks
cover.
super cool.
And signed. And I actually overheard some panelists talking, like, I'm not going to name their names, but like big name authors, and they were both like, James Hunter, like, yeah.
See, that's
like,
the thing.
He's like taking lit RPG to the next level. So I'm going to read both of those.
Yeah, I haven't. See, my issue has always been, and this is probably something that, if you've ever heard me talk about anything, you're going to know what I'm going to say. I don't care what genre of book it is or anything like that.
What's happening with the characters?
Yeah.
There's good versions and bad versions of everything.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if it's a lit RPG because if it's done really well, it's gonna be fucking awesome.
Well, so like the first comment that came when I did that on the fantasy subreddit, the first comment was a guy saying like, well, you know, it's because it's trash. Basically, that's why it doesn't get respect, because it's trash and blah 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 blah. And he's like, lit RPG doesn't have a Rothfuss and a Sanderson and a this. And
maybe not yet.
And so my thing was I came on there.
Most of fantasy does.
Well, that's the thing.
There's very few of them.
Well, that's what I said. Like, I came on there. I was like, well, I'm not really the guy to defend this, because in my post that I don't really like lit RPG from what I've read. It's not a statement on the quality. I just don't think I enjoy the way those books are structured.
Right.
The same way I don't like most Dragonlance books because they read very D&D.
Yep.
Not a reflection on the quality. I just don't like that style of book. But I was like, but you're saying like, oh, well, they don't have a Rothfuss and a Sanderson, so they can't compare. It's like, spoiler, the vast bulk of books in those genres can't compare to a Sanderson and a Rothfuss.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
Well, see, that's the same thing that I've always had an issue with people comparing, and this is a big issue when it comes to literary fiction versus genre fiction. It's like, you're taking run-of-the-mill standard fantasy novels and comparing them to some of the greatest examples of literary fiction known to man.
Yeah.
And you're surprised that they don't match up?
Yeah.
What
this
are you even
apple does
talking
not
about?
look the same as my orange, Derek.
It's just nonsense.
Yeah, but like, I mean, if you compare, like, yes, if you're comparing, I can't think of just some super generic schlocky like 80s sci-fi book
Right.
to Lolita or some widely regarded pinnacle of writing or whatnot, yeah, of course they don't fucking compare. But if you compare,
there's a lot of trash literary fiction.
If you compare
too.
Guy Gavriel Kay to fucking, I don't know, I can't think of a real author.
Me.
Not and like a mainstream author right now. Like there is comparison. Like they're comparable.
I don't even think they're comparable. Guy Gavriel way better.
I'm saying the top of the craft in fantasy is comparable to the top of craft in literary. Mm-hmm. You got to compare top of the craft to top of the craft, not
this is
the greatest.
This is a pet peeve of mine. So we'll let's move.
Yeah.
I got all kinds of books for free.
Yeah, she won a ton of books.
At one of the
chicken dinner.
Well, at the panels, one of the ones that I went to, they just had books in the back. Hey, free books in the back. Your panelists, whatever. Another panel I went to had a little free library back there.
Because you needed more books.
Hey, But then I also gave blood and got a book, but that was a whole debacle. My whole giving blood
died. Yeah.
thing. Like, they pricked my one hand. I didn't have enough iron. They weren't going to let me give. So they pricked my other hand. I had enough iron. Cool. But
there's a free shirt on the line, so not being able to give was not an option for Tonya.
Yeah. I looked at her. I was like, can I get a shirt even if I can't donate?
Free is your favorite.
It is.
flavor.
It is. Because I don't want to buy a shirt when I can buy it with my blood. I don't want to buy it with my money when I can buy it with my blood. So... she couldn't find my pulse during the original finger pricking. I was like, I'm not dead, I'm here. And so my iron, whatever, the second hand worked, and the guy
I like how it's her second, not her other hand.
Yeah, it's my second hand. And so the guy straps me in, and he's trying to get my vein to pop up, and it wasn't working. And then it finally came up, and I made the mistake of looking at it when it went in, and it was 7 feet long, and it was a straw. Normally it doesn't hurt. It didn't hurt. But it just made me freak out. And then I rotated my wrist a little bit, and the bevel of the needle inside kind of started suctioning to the inside of my vein, which kind of made it vibrate a little bit.
Can we stop talking
we're
about
done.
it?
We're done
Yeah,
with this.
we're done with
Okay,
this.
wait.
Long story short, Tonya
Had a tough time. She had a bad time. She got dizzy.
I went up the escalator. Everything was fine. Yada yada yada. Everything was fine. I go up the escalator, and I'm telling everyone about my story, and then all of a sudden, I feel like I'm going to faint, and instead of fainting, I have a panic attack.
Yeah.
And
that is the most Tonya thing I've ever heard in my
life. You know how I helped break her out of it? I was like,
you dumb bitch.
I said, you ignorant slut.
Yeah, basically.
And she started laughing.
Yeah. But I got L. Ron Hubbard's the Writers of the Future, the 35th edition. Got that for free. Got a shirt for free and some pins and other swag. I got that Viridian Gate book.
Yep.
I got 2 Janie Works books.
Janie Works was there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
She's always there, pretty much.
Yeah, but didn't
she had a real tough time.
Right, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah. But
okay,
no,
well,
she
that's
was
good.
there.
That's
well,
good.
I don't know if she herself was there, but her booth was there.
Okay.
For her art.
Yeah. But yeah, I got this sci-fi book, Pauper, by Jack McDonald Burnett.
So
a bunch of cool things.
Derek, you got some free stuff.
Oh yeah?
Which one do you want?
Blue or green?
He
wants blue.
Yeah, I do want blue.
I know
green
that.
It is.
Green it is. Okay.
No, you can have the blue. I don't know. They're both so good. Fuck.
He gets blue. You get green.
Blue. I get green. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but no, Derek.
Oh, there's silver writing too.
Derek.
Put them under the lights.
Put them. Cup your hand. They have glow in the dark spark. They're dice for anyone who's not in the room. They are.
You might have to come bring them. Make sure
hold under the light.
Hey, if they get weird, make sure you take it out of the package and just put it in front of the light instead of trying to, be careful with the glow in the darks.
Yeah, they have speckled glow in the dark. Yeah, each one of us got a set.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so really cool dice. Yeah. All right, well,
now we'll never actually play D&D ever
pretty
again
much.
because we have cool dice.
So I think that's enough about D&D.
Or DragonCon.
Or DragonCon. Yeah.
Apparently both.
But we do have a.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you see Xavier Woods while you were there?
No, but Jake the Snake was also there.
Really?
And someone else.
Dusty Rhodes. They had
He's dead.
No, but they had a bunch of Dusty Rhodes stuff.
He's from
Booker T is going to be at Pensacon, and DDP.
Dumb and Dulce Page.
Yeah.
I know, right?
So we got a new product from Rianco.
Yeah, dog.
You've heard of the Roomba? Well, now from Rianco comes the Doomba. The Doomba.
A loofah?
Nothing cleans better than the scouring power of a 3,000-degree flamethrower. Defeat hard-to-beat mold and stains with Spot Blast of hydrochloric acid. Mm-hmm. Clean up those pesky home invader stains with its patent-pending Void Ray. All for the low price of $12,000.
You had me up to the $12,000. You know what? Maybe.
Can I do an installment plan?
Yes, they do. It's called indentured servitude, but it's basically installment plan.
But all the same. But did he send? Did we get one of these to practice to see if it works before we?
No, they. This was a little out of the price range for them to just send me a copy. They just sent me the ad.
This is more expensive than the robot arms.
Yeah, surprisingly. Yeah.
I can never tell with these things.
It's crazy. The vagaries of science.
Yeah. It's the market, man. It dictates how much these things cost. What are you going to do?
You know what?
Hey, Venezuela's having problems. You can't just be blowing gas around. You got to be careful.
Yeah. So, long story short, go to DragonCon. We'll be there next year for sure. We're actually going to try and have some swag with us for listeners. We're going to try and have a meetup at some point. So if you're a listener and you're at DragonCon next year, you can get free stuff from us.
And everybody
Just-
loves free shit.
Yeah, just for showing
I
up.
mean, I might be persuaded to get some shit together for Pensacon. Not
Yeah.
for Fanaticon. Fanaticon's like next month.
Yeah.
in
Yeah, we are going to be at
Dothan.
Fanaticon, or
But-
at least me. I know I don't because it's not a booth.
I
But,
work Friday. I may come down Saturday.
Fanaticon in Dothan, I'll be there. I'm moderating a couple panels.
Conzilla,
will be there. We'll have a booth at Conzilla.
That's in Columbus, Georgia, in November.
The first weekend in November. And then
Pensacon is the last weekend in February.
We're trying to go to Pensacon. We won't have a booth or anything, but we're just trying to go. We'll be there, and if you listen, we'll probably try and hold some sort of meetup so you can get free swag from us.
Yes.
All right.
Free is best.
So
Unless you're going to ChickFilA and they never take your free drink.
Oh my. Well,
Off
no,
your
because that would
rewards.
still be free, and it would have been best. It just
Yeah.
wasn't free, therefore not best.
Well, I've paid for it twice when I wanted
Hence
it
it
free
not being
once.
free.
So you still have the free one to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want 3 of them. I only wanted the one, and I wanted it to be a free one.
And yet you still keep buying them.
Because I keep expecting it to be free, and it never is because they don't use the reward program correctly.
Maybe if you went to Prattville, this wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, Tanya, why don't you just go to Prattville?
I hear it's really nice.
I hear that's a great.
I hear they please you. I hear they please you there.
Yeah,
It's their pleasure.
They please you.
It's their pleasure to
You
serve
go there
me.
for the sensual fraps.
I was about to say probably get some of that mayonnaise.
sensual snacks.
Sensual snacks. All right. In the coming week, as you're in the drive-through of your ChickFilA, I hope that they shower you in mayonnaise and pleasure you to your heart's content.
God, that sounds so gross.
And
Yeah, that was what I've been thinking this
And
entire episode.
may the blessing of the beard be upon you.
Ew. Thanks for listening to this episode of Books, Beards, Booze. Our co-hosts are Bob, Derek, and Tonya. Our producer is Bob. For more information, visit our website, booksbeardsbooze.com. Follow our social media at Tales by Bob. If you enjoyed this podcast, please rate, subscribe, and share. Okay, bye.